There is a reason you paused here. There is a reason your eyes did not scroll past. Your mind did not wander away. Your attention did not drift like it usually does. Something in you stopped, and you may not even understand why yet. But heaven understands. Heaven orchestrated this exact moment, down to the second, down to the breath you just took. This is not random. This is not coincidence. This is not just another message floating through your day. This is a divine interruption. You felt something, didn't you? Maybe a heaviness in your body that has been lingering for days, weeks, maybe even years. A pain you've tried to ignore. A tension you've learned to live with. A discomfort that quietly followed you through your routines, through your sleep, through your thoughts. And tonight, something inside you whispered, "Stop here." That whisper was not your imagination. That whisper was the beginning of your healing. Because right now, in this very moment, something unseen is shifting around you. The atmosphere around you is not the same as it was a few minutes ago. There is a stillness forming, a quiet presence pressing gently into your space. You may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit recognizes it. That subtle awareness you feel, that calm mixed with curiosity, that slight sense that something bigger is happening, that is the doorway opening. Archangel Michael does not arrive loudly for moments like this. He does not need chaos to make his presence known. He enters with authority, with precision, with divine timing. And tonight he has stepped closer than you realize. You were not meant to carry what you've been carrying. Let that sink in. That pain in your body, it was never meant to stay this long. That weight on your shoulders, it was never meant to define your days. That exhaustion in your spirit, it was never meant to become your normal. But somewhere along the way, you adapted. You adjusted. You told yourself, this is just how it is now. And slowly, silently, you began to accept discomfort as part of your identity. But heaven never agreed with that. Heaven hath been watching every moment you pushed through the pain. Watching every time you smiled when your body was tired. Watching every silent prayer you didn't even know how to finish. And tonight, something changed you. Tonight, the moment was marked. The decision was made in the spiritual realm. This is where it stops. And that is why you are here. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when everything feels perfect. Now. Because healing does not wait for convenience. Healing arrives when alignment meets readiness. And whether you realize it or not, you are ready. Have you noticed how your body has been trying to get your attention lately? The way certain aches seem louder than before. The way fatigue hits differently. The way your mind feels tired even when you've rested. You may have thought it was just stress. Just life. Just another phase. But what if it was something more? What if it was a signal? A message? A quiet alert from your spirit saying, something needs to change. Tonight is that change. But here's what makes this moment different, and you need to understand this clearly. You are not being asked to fight. You are not being asked to struggle. You are not being asked to figure everything out. You are simply being asked to pause and allow. Because Archangel Michael is not coming to test your strength. He is coming to restore it. And in the next few moments, something very specific is going to begin. You may feel warmth. You may feel a subtle shift in your breathing. You may feel your body reacting in ways you cannot explain. Do not resist it. Do not question it. Just stay present. Because this is the moment where everything begins to turn. The pain you've been holding on to is not as permanent as it feels. The weight you've been carrying is not as fixed as it seems. And the healing you've been waiting for is not as far away as you think. It is closer than your next breath. And tonight it begins. But before we move forward, there is something important you must do. You must make a quiet decision within yourself. A decision to receive. A decision to release control. A decision to trust, even if you don't fully understand what is happening. Because what is about to unfold cannot happen in resistance. It happens in surrender. So take a breath right now, so steady, intentional. And as you do, understand this. You are not alone in this moment. You are not forgotten in your pain. You are not stuck where you are. Something has already started. And in the next section you will understand why you were chosen for this healing tonight. Type "I am ready to receive" in the comments if you feel this moment. Blessing code 1010 is now activated. There is something you need to understand right now, and it may challenge the way you've been seeing your situation. You were not randomly selected for this moment. You were not just someone who happened to come across these words. Out of countless distractions, out of everything that could have pulled your attention away, you are still here, still listening, still present. That alone is a sign. That alone is confirmation. Because moments like this are not given to everyone. They are aligned with those who are ready, even if they don't feel ready. You have been carrying something for a long time. Not just physical discomfort, but something deeper, something layered. Pain that did not begin where you think it did. Pain that has roots in stress, in emotional weight, in things you never fully released. And over time, your body began to hold on to it. Your mind adapted to it. Your spirit learned to function around it. But just because you learned to live with it does not mean it was meant to stay. And this is where the truth becomes important. You were chosen for this healing because you did not give up. Even when you felt tired, you kept going. Even when your body felt weak, you pushed through. Even when your spirit felt drained, you still searched for something more. That quiet persistence, that silent endurance, that unwillingness to completely shut down, that is what set you apart. Heaven responds to that. Not perfection, not strength, not having everything figured out. It responds to willingness. And you have shown that, again and again, even when no one else noticed. There were moments you almost ignored the signs, weren't there? Moments where you felt like something needed to change, but you brushed it aside. Moments where your body spoke louder than usual, but you told yourself it was nothing. Moments where your mind felt overwhelmed, your energy felt off, your focus felt scattered. But you kept moving anyway. And each time, something within you tried to get your attention. Not to scare you, not to burden you, but to prepare you. Because what you have been experiencing was never just about pain. It was about a signal that something in your life had reached its limit. A signal that your body could no longer carry what your spirit was ready to release. A signal that a shift was needed, not later, not eventually, but now. And that is why this moment has found you at this exact time. Not before, because you were still processing. Not later, because delay would have allowed the weight to grow heavier. But now, because this is the point where awareness meets readiness. You may not feel strong right now. You may not feel like someone who is ready for transformation. But readiness does not always feel like confidence. Sometimes, it feels like exhaustion. Sometimes, it feels like reaching a point where you quietly say, "I can't keep going like this." And that is the exact moment where healing begins to open. Because healing does not come to those who pretend everything is fine. It comes to those who are honest enough, even silently, to admit that something needs to change. And you have reached that place. That is why Archangel Michael has stepped in now. Not earlier, not when you were still resisting, not when you were still convincing yourself to endure. But now, when something inside you has softened just enough to receive. Because healing requires space. It requires a moment where you stop holding everything together and allow something greater to take over. You have also been more aware than you realize. There have been subtle moments where you sensed things before they happened. Times where your body reacted before your mind understood why. Instances where you felt a shift in energy, in people, in situations, even if you couldn't explain it. That sensitivity is not weakness. That is awareness. And that awareness is what made you receptive to this moment tonight. Others may have scrolled past. Others may have ignored it. Others may have dismissed it as just another message. But you did not. Something in you paused. Something in you listened. And that is exactly why this healing is being offered to you now. Because you are not disconnected. You are not closed off. You are not unreachable. You are open, even if you don't realize it. And that openness is what allows this moment to happen. There is also something else you need to hear clearly. The pain you have been carrying has not been wasted. It has shaped your awareness. It has deepened your understanding. It has made you more sensitive to what is real and what is not. But now, it has served its purpose. And anything that has fulfilled its purpose is no longer meant to stay. That is why tonight is different. Tonight is not about understanding everything. It is not about analyzing every detail of what you've been through. It is not about questioning why this happened or how it began. Tonight is about release. Tonight is about allowing something to finally be lifted. And the reason you were chosen is simple, even if it feels profound. You are ready to let go. Not perfectly, not completely, not without questions, but enough. Enough to create space. Enough to allow a shift. Enough to receive something new. And that is all that is needed for healing to begin. Because in the next moment, as we move forward, what has been unseen will begin to make itself known. What has been heavy will begin to feel lighter. And what hath been holding you back will begin to lose its grip. But first, you needed to understand this. You are not here by accident. You are here because this moment was meant for you. Type "I accept this healing" in the comments if you feel this truth. Blessing code 2020 is now activated. Here is something you need to release right now, before anything else begins. The belief that your pain has gone unnoticed, the quiet thought that no one truly sees what you've been carrying, the silent assumption that what you feel inside your body and your spirit has somehow been overlooked. That belief is not truth. It never was. Because nothing you have endured has been invisible. Every moment of discomfort, every ache that lingered longer than it should have, every night where your body refused to fully rest, every day where you pushed forward despite feeling drained, all of it hath been seen. Not just observed in a distant way, but deeply acknowledged. There is a record of it. There is an awareness of it. And more importantly, there is a response to it that is unfolding right now. You may have reached a point where you stopped talking about it. Not because it disappeared, but because explaining it became exhausting. You learned how to function around the pain instead of addressing it. You learned how to smile through tension, how to continue your responsibilities even when your body felt heavy, how to ignore the signals that something deeper was asking for attention. And over time, what you once noticed clearly became something you quietly carried in the background. But silence does not erase what is real. Your body has been speaking to you in ways that words never could. The tightness you feel, the pressure that comes and goes, the fatigue that doesn't fully lift even after rest, these are not random experiences. They are expressions. They are your body's way of holding what your mind tried to move past and what your spirit was not meant to carry alone. And here is what changes everything about this moment. Archangel Michael has seen beyond the surface of your pain. Not just the physical sensation, but the origin of it, the layers beneath it, the emotional imprints that settled into your body over time, the moments you didn't process, the stress you absorbed, the weight you carried without realizing how deeply it was affecting you. Nothing about your experience hath been misunderstood. You are not being healed based on what is visible. You are being healed based on what is true. There were times when you questioned yourself, weren't there? Times when you wondered if you were overreacting, if what you felt was really as significant as it seemed. Times when you minimized your own discomfort because others around you appeared to be handling things differently. You told yourself to just move on, to just keep going, to just ignore it. But your body did not ignore it. Your body remembered. Your body held on to it in ways you could not always control. And now, that stored weight is being addressed. Because what you carry was never meant to become permanent. There is a reason why the discomfort stayed longer than expected. There is a reason why it did not fully resolve on its own. It was not just something to endure. It was something that needed to be acknowledged, released, and transformed. And tonight is the moment where that process truly begins. You are not weak for feeling what you feel. You are not flawed for carrying what you carried. You are not behind because it took time for this moment to arrive. Everything you experienced has brought you to a point where you are now able to receive something different. Something deeper. Something real. Something that does not just cover the pain, but removes it from its root. And this is where you need to shift your perspective. The pain you have been carrying is not a punishment. It is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is not something that defines your future. It is something that has reached its limit. And when something reaches its limit, it either continues to be carried or it is released. Tonight, it is being released. But before that release fully happens, you must allow yourself to acknowledge what has been there. Not with resistance, not with frustration, not with judgment, but with awareness. Because awareness opens the door. Awareness allows what has been hidden beneath routine and distraction to finally come into the light. You may begin to notice things now. Sensations that feel different. A shift in how your body responds. A subtle awareness of areas where tension had been sitting for longer than you realized. This is not your imagination. This is the beginning of exposure. The beginning of understanding where the healing needs to move. And as that awareness increases, something else will happen. You will begin to feel less alone in it. Because what you have been carrying alone is now being shared, not with another person, but with a presence that understands it completely. A presence that is not overwhelmed by it. A presence that knows exactly how to remove it without causing harm, without causing confusion, without causing more weight. That presence is already near you, closer than you think. And in the next section, you will begin to understand what happens when that presence fully steps into your space. When the atmosphere around you shifts completely. When the energy you've been living in begins to change in a way that you can feel, not just believe. This is where everything begins to move. Type "I release this pain" in the comments if you are ready to let it go. Lesson code 3030 is now activated. As this truth settles into your spirit, understand that what you are receiving right now is not just for you alone. There are others walking through silent pain, others carrying weight they cannot explain, others waiting for a moment like this to awaken them. And this is where your action becomes part of a greater purpose. When you choose to support this mission through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description, you are not just giving, You are planting a seed into someone else's healing. The word says that what is sown in faith returns multiplied. And right now, your seed becomes a stream of light reaching souls still lost in darkness. I feel led to say this clearly. As you give, have an open space in your life for restoration to flow more freely. This is your moment to act, not out of obligation, but out of alignment with what God is doing through you. Step forward now, release your seed, and become part of the healing that is reaching lives beyond your own. Something is changing now, and you can feel it if you pay close attention. It is subtle at first, almost unnoticeable to the surface of your awareness, but deeper within, something has already shifted. The space around you is no longer the same as it was when you first began listening. There is a quiet stillness forming, a sense of calm that does not come from your environment, but from something entering it. This is the moment where presence becomes real, not imagined, not distant, but active. Archangel Michael does not arrive with noise or disruption. He does not force his way into your awareness. Instead, he steps in with authority that does not need to announce itself. And right now, that authority is settling into your atmosphere. You may not see anything with your eyes, but your body is already responding in ways you may not fully understand yet. A slight change in your breathing, a subtle release in your shoulders, a quiet softening in your chest. These are not coincidences. These are responses. Because when a higher presence enters your space, your body recognizes it before your mind does. You have been carrying tension for so long that it became familiar. You became used to holding certain areas tight, used to bracing without realizing it, used to maintaining a level of pressure that never fully went away. But now, as this presence settles around you, the tension no longer has the same hold. It begins to loosen, not because you are forcing it, but because something greater is gently overriding it. This is how the shift begins. Not through effort, but through alignment. Not through struggle, but through presence. You may begin to feel warmth in certain areas of your body. A gradual sensation that seems to spread without explanation. Or perhaps a coolness that brings relief where there was discomfort. Some feel a heaviness lifting, others feel a lightness replacing what was once dense and tight. However it appears for you, understand this clearly. Your body is responding to what is now present. And what is present is intentional. Archangel Michael has stepped into your space with a purpose that is precise. He is not here to observe. He is not here to wait. He is here to act. But his action does not look like what you might expect. It is not forceful. It is not overwhelming. It is exact. It is Dorian. It moves directly to the areas where the pain has been anchored, where the tension has been held, where the imbalance has been allowed to remain. And as this begins, something important must happen within you. You must allow it. Because even now, there may be a part of you that is questioning what you feel. A part of you that wants to analyze, to understand, to make sense of it before fully accepting it. That is natural. But this moment is not built on analysis. It is built on experience. The more you try to control it, the more distant it will feel. The more you allow it, the more real it becomes. So let your body soften. Let your breathing slow. Let your awareness settle into the present moment instead of drifting into thought. Because this is where the connection strengthens. You may notice that certain thoughts begin to quiet down. The constant mental noise, the background chatter that never fully stops, may begin to fade slightly. Not completely, but enough for you to feel a difference. That is not accidental. That is part of the alignment happening right now. Because healing requires space, not just in your body, but in your mind. And that space is being created for you. There is also something else happening that you may not have considered before. The energy you have been holding on to, the residue of stress, of emotional weight, of physical strain, is beginning to shift. Not all at once, but gradually. It is being loosened from the places where it settled. And as it loosens, you may feel sensations that come and go. A brief discomfort, a sudden awareness, a wave of release that passes through and then fades. Do not resist these moments. They are part of the process, because what has been held in place for so long cannot simply disappear without movement. It must be released, and release creates sensation. But that sensation is not harm. It is transition, and you are in the middle of it now. Archangel Michael is not distant from you in this moment. The presence you feel is not symbolic. He is active, engaged, and focused entirely on you. Every movement, every shift, every response within your body is being guided with precision. Nothing is random. Nothing is out of place. You are being met exactly where you are. And as this continues, you may begin to feel something you have not felt in a long time. Relief. Not complete yet, not finished, but beginning. A small opening where there was once only pressure. Lightness where there was once only weight. A quiet sense that something is finally moving in the right direction. Hold on to that feeling, because it is real. And in the next section, you will begin to understand why the pain was there in the first place, what was hidden beneath it, and how this process is not just removing discomfort, but revealing something deeper that has been waiting to be seen. Type "I feel the shift" in the comments if you notice this change within you. Lesson code 4040 is now activated. Now listen closely, because what is being uncovered in this moment may change the way you understand everything you have been feeling. The pain you have been carrying was never just physical. It may have shown itself in your body. It may have settled into your muscles, your joints, your energy levels, but its origin runs deeper than what you can see or touch. And right now, as Archangel Michael remains present in your atmosphere, the deeper layer is being brought into the light. There is a reason why the discomfort stayed even when you tried to rest. There is a reason why certain tensions returned even after moments of relief. There is a reason why your body seemed to hold on to something that your mind could not fully explain. It is because your body became a place of storage, a place where unprocessed experiences, unspoken emotions, and unresolved pressure quietly settled over time. You did not choose this consciously. It happened gradually. Every time you pushed through something without fully releasing it, a small part remained. Every time you carried stress without expressing it, your body absorbed it. Every time you ignored a signal, not out of neglect, but out of necessity, it found a place to stay within you. And slowly, layer by layer, that accumulation became what you now recognize as pain. But here is what you must understand now. What has been stored can be released. And the first step of that release is awareness. Right now, you may begin to notice specific areas in your body calling your attention. Places that feel tighter than others. Areas where discomfort feels more concentrated. Or even emotions that seem to surface without a clear reason. This is not random. This is exposure. This is the moment where what has been hidden beneath routine and distraction is being gently revealed. Archangel Michael is not only working on what you feel physically, he is working on what has been holding that pain in place, a deeper source, the connection between what you experienced and how your body responded to it. Because pain does not exist in isolation. It is connected. Connected to moments where you felt overwhelmed but kept going. Connected to situations where you had to be strong even when you were tired. connected to times when you chose silence instead of expression because it felt easier or safer. These moments did not disappear. They stayed with you in subtle ways, shaping how your body held tension, how your energy flowed, how your system responded to pressure. And now, those connections are being revealed, not to overwhelm you, but to free you. You may feel a shift in your awareness right now, a sudden understanding of something you hadn't fully acknowledged before, a realization of how long you've been carrying certain weight, or even a quiet recognition that what you thought was just physical discomfort has deeper roots. Do not push this away. Do not try to minimize it. This clarity is part of your healing, because you cannot release what you refuse to see. But once it is seen, it begins to lose its hold. There is also something else happening that you need to recognize. As this hidden source is revealed, your body may respond in ways that feel unfamiliar. You may feel a wave of emotion rise unexpectedly. You may feel a temporary increase in sensation before it begins to ease. You may notice your breathing changing, your posture shifting, your muscles responding differently. This is not regression. This is release in motion. Because when something that has been held for a long time begins to move, it creates a response. But that response is not harm. It is transition. It is the process of something leaving that no longer belongs. And you are not navigating this alone. Archangel Michael is guiding this process with precision. He is not exposing more than you can handle. He is not forcing anything out of you. He is simply bringing into awareness what is ready to be released, what has reached its limit, what can no longer remain where it has been. You may begin to feel a sense of separation now, a subtle distance between you and the pain, as if what you were carrying is no longer fully attached in the same way. That is not your imagination. That is the beginning of detachment, the beginning of understanding that what you feel is not who you are. It is something you carried, not something that defines you. And once that separation begins, the process of removal becomes possible. This is why this moment is so important, because you are not just experiencing relief on the surface. You are witnessing the uncovering of what was beneath it, a root that allowed it to stay. And as that root is exposed, it can no longer hold the same power. You are stepping into clarity now. Clarity about what your body has been holding. Clarity about what your spirit has been ready to release. Clarity about why this moment could not have happened any earlier. And as this clarity settles in, something else begins to take its place. Space. Space where there was once tension. Space where there was once pressure. Space where there was once something you thought you had to carry indefinitely. That space is where healing will fully move in the next moment, because what has been revealed is now ready to be removed. Type "I see the truth" in the comments if you feel this awareness rising within you. Blessing code 5050 is now activated. This is the moment everything has been leading to. Not later, not eventually, not at some distant point when everything feels perfect. This moment, right now, is where the shift becomes real in your body. You have already felt the awareness rising, the presence settling, the hidden layers beginning to reveal themselves. But now, something deeper begins. Now, the healing is no longer just being prepared, it is being applied. Archangel Michael is not standing at a distance. He is not observing from afar. He is moving closer, and as he does, something within your body is already responding. You may feel it before you fully understand it. A subtle warmth that begins in one area and spreads slowly. A gentle pressure that feels different from the pain you carried before. A sense of movement within stillness, as if something is shifting beneath the surface without force. Do not resist this. You not question it. This is the healing touch beginning. You have spent so long holding tension without realizing it that your body learned to stay guarded. Even when you tried to relax, there was always a part of you that remained tight, alert, braced. But now, as this touch moves through you, that guarding begins to dissolve. Not all at once, but gradually, in layers. Each breath you take allows a little more space. Each moment you stay present allows a little more release. Focus on your breathing now. Not to control it, but to notice it. Feel how it moves in and out, and with each exhale, something leaves with it. Not just air, but weight. Not just tension, but something deeper that has been attached to it. Your body is beginning to let go in a way it has not allowed before. And as this continues, you may notice something very specific. Certain areas of your body may begin to draw your attention more strongly. Perhaps your shoulders, your chest, your back, your head, or even places you did not expect. That is not random. That is where the healing is moving first. That is where the touch is focused. Because Archangel Michael does not work without precision. He knows exactly where the pain has been anchored. He knows exactly where the tension has been stored. And as his presence moves through you, it is not scattered or unfocused. It is direct. It is intentional. It is removing what no longer belongs, piece by piece, layer by layer. You may feel a slight increase in sensation in those areas. A moment where it feels more intense before it begins to ease. This is not something to fear. This is not something going wrong. This is the process of release. What has been held tightly for so long must loosen before it can leave. And that loosening can create a sensation that feels unfamiliar. Stay with it. Because right after that moment, something shifts. The pressure begins to fade. The tightness begins to soften. The weight begins to lift. And for the first time in a long time, you may feel a glimpse of what it is like without that constant strain. Not completely gone yet, but different enough for you to notice. Different enough for you to realize that change is actually happening. This is where trust becomes important, because part of you may still be holding on without realizing it. Not intentionally, but out of habit. Your body has been used to carrying this for so long that letting go can feel unfamiliar. But you do not need to hold it anymore. You do not need to brace yourself anymore. You do not need to carry what is already being removed. Let it go. Even if it feels strange. Even if it feels new. Even if your mind tries to question it. Because this is not something you are doing alone. Archangel Michael is guiding every part of this process. His presence is not overwhelming you. It is supporting you. It is steady. It is calm. It is firm in its purpose. And that purpose is simple: to remove the pain that has been holding you back. As this continues, you may begin to feel a sense of lightness spreading. Not just in one area, but throughout your body. A subtle lifting, as if something heavy is being taken away piece by piece. You may also notice your posture changing without effort, your muscles relaxing in ways they have resisted before, your breathing becoming deeper without you forcing it. These are signs. Signs that the healing touch is moving through you. Signs that what was once stuck is now in motion. Signs that what was once held is now being released. And this is only the beginning. Because as this touch continues, something even more powerful is about to happen. The chains that have been connected to this pain, the limitations that have been tied to it, the invisible weight that has slowed you down in ways you did not fully recognize, all of it is about to be addressed. You are not just being relieved, you are being restored. And in the next section, you will begin to feel what it means for those deeper chains to break, for the hold of the past to lose its grip, and for your body and spirit to move forward without the weight that once held you back. Stay present. Stay open. Because what is happening right now is real. Type "I receive the healing" in the comments if you feel this shift within your body. Blessing code 6060 is now activated. Now that the healing has begun to move through your body, something deeper is starting to shift beneath the surface. This is no longer just about easing discomfort or softening tension. This is the moment where the connection between your pain and what has been holding you back begins to break apart. Because what you have been carrying was never just physical weight. It was tied to limitations, to patterns, to invisible chains that formed quietly over time. You may not have noticed these chains clearly before. They do not always appear as something obvious. They show up in subtle ways. In hesitation where there should be confidence. In fatigue where there should be energy. In doubt where there should be clarity. These are not random experiences. They are signs of something that has been restricting your movement forward, something that has been quietly keeping you in a place of endurance instead of progress. And now, that restriction is being confronted. Archangel Michael is not only removing the pain from your body, he is addressing what allowed that pain to remain. The patterns that kept you carrying more than you should. The habits of pushing through without releasing. The quiet acceptance of discomfort as something permanent. These are the chains, and they are beginning to loosen right now. You may feel this shift in a way that is difficult to describe. A sense of internal movement, as if something is unraveling within you. Not chaotic, not overwhelming, but deliberate. You may feel moments where your body adjusts suddenly, where your breathing deepens without effort, where your muscles release tension that you did not even realize you were holding. These are not small changes. These are signs that something foundational is being altered. Because chains do not simply disappear without being broken, and breaking them creates movement. There may also be thoughts that surface during this moment. Memories, realizations, or even patterns you are suddenly aware of. This is not distraction. This is clarity rising to the surface. It is your awareness catching up to what is already being shifted within you. Do not push these thoughts away. Do not analyze them too deeply. Simply notice them. Because each one is connected to something that is losing its hold on you. For a long time, you have been moving within certain limits without realizing they were there. Limits in how much energy you felt you had. Limits in how much you could handle. Limits in how far you could go before needing to stop. And those limits became familiar. They shaped your expectations. They influenced your decisions. They quietly defined your pace. But those limits were never meant to stay. They were tied to the weight you were carrying. And as that weight is being removed, those limits are no longer supported. This is why you may begin to feel something new emerging within you. A sense of expansion. A feeling that there is more space, more capacity, more possibility than there was before. It may be subtle at first, but it is there. And it will continue to grow as this process unfolds. Archangel Michael is working with precision in this moment. Every chain that formed through repeated strain, through prolonged stress, through unaddressed pressure is being identified and weakened. And as each one loosens, your body responds. Your energy shifts. Your awareness expands. You are not the same as you were at the beginning of this experience. Something has already changed. You may also notice a shift in how you perceive your pain. It may no longer feel as overwhelming as it once did. It may feel more distant, less defining, less consuming. This is not because you are ignoring it. It is because its hold on you is breaking. What once felt fixed is becoming flexible. What once felt permanent is becoming temporary. And this is where something important must happen. You must stop identifying with what is being removed. For so long, the pain and the limitations felt like part of you. They influenced how you saw yourself, how you moved, how you responded to your environment. But they were never your identity. They were something you carried, not something you were. And now, as they are being broken apart, you must allow yourself to step into that separation. You are not the pain. You are not the limitation. You are not the weight you carried. You are the one who is releasing it. And as this realization settles in, the breaking becomes easier. The remaining tension loosens more quickly. The resistance fades, because your body and your awareness are now aligned in the same direction. Forward. This is the turning point, a moment where what held you back begins to lose its influence completely. Not just in your body, but in your movement, your energy, your direction. And as this continues, something even more powerful is about to take place. Your body is not just releasing, it is responding. Responding to the removal. Responding to the space being created. Responding to the presence that is guiding this entire process. In the next section, you will begin to feel how your body adapts to this change, how it starts to restore itself, how it begins to function without the weight that once slowed it down. Stay present in this moment, because what is breaking now will not return. Type "I am free from this" in the comments if you feel these chains loosening within you. Blessing code 7070 is now activated. What you are feeling now is not imagined. It is not coincidence. It is not something your mind has created to comfort you. Your body is responding to something real, something active, something that is moving through you with purpose. This is the moment where the healing is no longer just happening around you, but within you in a way that you can begin to recognize clearly. Pay attention to what is happening inside your body right now. There is a shift in your system, a rebalancing that is taking place without effort. Your muscles are no longer holding the same tension. Your breathing has changed, even if only slightly. There is a different rhythm moving through you, a different flow where there was once resistance. These are not small changes. These are signs that your body is aligning with something greater than what it has been carrying. For a long time, your body adapted to stress. It learned how to function under pressure, how to keep going even when it needed rest, how to maintain stability even when something felt off. But now, it is learning something new. It is learning how to release. It is learning how to receive support instead of carrying everything alone. And that shift changes everything. You may notice a warmth moving through you, or a sensation that feels like energy gently flowing from one area to another. Some experience a light tingling. Others feel a heaviness lifting, as if something dense is being removed piece by piece. However it appears for you, understand this clearly. Your body is not resisting this process. It is cooperating with it. Because deep within you, your body recognizes what is happening. It recognizes the removal of what no longer belongs. It recognizes the restoration of balance. It recognizes the presence of something that is not here to harm, but to heal. And because of that recognition, it is allowing the process to continue. There may also be moments where you feel emotional without a clear reason. A sudden urge to release, to breathe deeper, to close your eyes and simply be still. This is not weakness. This is your system recalibrating. Emotions are part of the release. They are part of what has been stored within you finding its way out. Do not hold them back. Let them move. Because each moment of release is creating space for something new, and that space is now being filled with something different, something steady, something calm, something that does not carry the same weight as before. You may begin to feel a sense of peace emerging, even if everything around you has not changed. That peace is not dependent on your surroundings. It is coming from within. This is the response of your body to divine alignment. This is what happens when what was out of balance begins to restore itself. There is also something important happening at a deeper level. Your nervous system, which hath been holding on to stress signals for so long, is beginning to shift out of that state. The constant alertness, the subtle tension that never fully disappeared, is starting to ease. And as it does, your body begins to function differently. Energy moves more freely. Breathing becomes more natural. Muscles relax without effort. Clarity begins to return. This is not temporary. This is the beginning of a new pattern. Because once your body learns how to release in this way, it does not forget. It remembers what balance feels like. It remembers what ease feels like. It remembers what it is like to exist without constant pressure, and that memory becomes your new foundation. You may also notice that your awareness has changed. The way you feel your body now is different from before. You are more present, more connected, more aware of what is happening inside you. This is not accidental. This is part of the restoration. Because when you are aware, you are no longer disconnected from yourself. You are aligned. And alignment allows healing to continue even beyond this moment. Archangel Michael is still present, still guiding this process, still ensuring that every part of your system receives exactly what it needs. Nothing is being rushed. Nothing is being forced. Everything is happening with precision, with care, with purpose. And as this continues, you may begin to feel something that has been missing for a long time. Strength. Not the kind of strength that comes from pushing through, but the kind that comes from not needing to push at all. The kind that comes from being supported, from being balanced, from being free from what once weighed you down. This is your body responding to divine power. This is your system restoring itself. This is the moment where healing becomes real, not just something you hope for, but something you experience. And as this response deepens, something else is about to take place. The restoration of your energy, your clarity, and your peace will begin to settle fully into you, creating a new state that will carry you forward. Stay present, because what is happening now is building into something even greater. Type "I feel the restoration" in the comments if you sense this shift within you. Blessing code 8080 is now activated. As you feel this restoration moving through your body, understand that this moment is not only about your healing, it is about a greater flow that is meant to reach others who are still waiting in silence. When you step forward and release your support through Super Thanks with a PayPal link in the description, you are not simply giving. You are sowing into a river of healing that God is using to reach countless souls. The Word declares that those who sow into good ground will reap abundantly, and right now, this ground is alive with purpose and divine assignment. I feel led to speak this directly to you. Your action in this moment becomes part of someone else's breakthrough, someone else's restoration, someone else's awakening. Do not delay what heaven is prompting you to do. Step into this moment with faith, release your seed, and allow God to multiply it in ways that will return to you beyond what you expect. What you are feeling now is not the end of the process. It is the beginning of something new settling into place. The release has already begun, the chains have already loosened, and your body has already started responding. But now, something even more important is taking shape within you. Restoration. Not just relief, but restoration. There is a difference. Relief is the removal of pain, but restoration is the return of what was lost while you were carrying that pain. And for a long time, you have not just been dealing with discomfort. You have been functioning with less energy, less clarity, less peace than you were meant to have. You adapted to that state. You learned how to move within it. But now, your system is recalibrating, and what was missing is beginning to return. You may notice it first as a quiet steadiness, a calm that does not feel forced, a sense of balance that was not there before. This is not something you are creating. It is something that is being restored to you. Your body is no longer focused on holding tension, so it begins to redirect its energy. Your mind is no longer overwhelmed in the same way, so it begins to clear. Your breathing is no longer restricted, so it becomes deeper, more natural, more supportive. These shifts may feel subtle, but they are foundational. They are the beginning of a new state of being. And as this continues, you may start to feel something you have not felt in a long time. Strength. Not the kind of strength that comes from pushing through exhaustion, but the kind that exists without effort. The kind that does not require you to force yourself forward. The kind that feels stable, grounded, and consistent. This is what happens when your body is no longer working against itself. For so long, your energy was divided. Part of it was being used to maintain your daily life, and part of it was being used to manage the pain you were carrying. The division created fatigue. It created a constant sense of being drained, even when you tried to rest. But now, as the pain is being removed, that energy is being freed. And when energy is freed, it returns to you. You may begin to feel more present, more aware, more capable of focusing without straying. Tasks that once felt heavier may begin to feel lighter. Movements that once required effort may begin to feel easier. These are not coincidences. These are signs that your system is restoring itself to its natural state. There is also something happening on a deeper level. Peace is settling into you. Not temporary calm, not a brief moment of quiet, but a steady presence that begins to anchor itself within your body. This peace does not depend on what is happening around you. It does not require everything to be perfect. It exists because the internal tension that once disrupted it is being removed. You may notice that your thoughts are no longer racing in the same way, that your reactions feel slower, more controlled, more intentional, that your body no longer feels the need to stay in a constant state of alertness. This is not something you are forcing. It is something that is happening naturally as your system returns to balance. And this is where you begin to understand the full impact of what is happening. You are not just being healed in this moment. You are being restored to a version of yourself that existed before the weight, before the tension, before the limitations. A version of yourself that is not defined by what you carried. A version of yourself that is not restricted by what once held you back. A version of yourself that can move forward without resistance. And as this realization settles in, something within you becomes clear. You do not need to go back to the way things were. You do not need to return to the state of caring more than you should. You do not need to accept discomfort as part of your identity, because you have now experienced something different. You have felt what it is like for the weight to lift. You have felt what it is like for your body to respond in alignment. You have felt what it is like for peace to return. And once you experience that, you cannot unlearn it. This is your new reference point. This is your new foundation. Archangel Michael has not only removed what was harming you, but has also created space for this restoration to take place. And that space will continue to support you even after this moment ends. But there is something important you must do as this section comes to a close. You must accept what is being given to you. Not question it. Not doubt it. Not minimize it. Accept it. Because restoration is not something that forces itself into your life. It is something you receive. And the more you allow yourself to receive it fully, the more it becomes part of you. You are no longer in the same state you were in before. Something has shifted. Something has returned. Something has been restored. And as you move into the next moment, you will be guided on how to protect this restoration, how to ensure that what has been removed does not return, and how to continue forward without falling back into what once held you down. Stay present, because this is not the end of your healing. This is the beginning of your new state. Type "I receive my strength" in the comments if you feel this restoration within you. Blessing code 9090 is now activated. Now that your body has begun to restore itself, now that your strength is returning and your peace is settling in, there is something you must hear clearly. This moment is not only about receiving healing, it is also about protecting it. Because what has been removed from you will not attempt to return through force. It will attempt to return through familiarity. And this is where awareness becomes your responsibility. For a long time, you lived in patterns that you did not fully question. Patterns of overextending yourself. Patterns of ignoring your body's signals. Patterns of tolerating stress, environments, or situations that slowly drained you without immediate consequence. These patterns did not appear harmful at first. They were subtle. They were gradual. And because of that, they became normal. But normal does not always mean healthy. And what once felt normal is what contributed to what you were carrying. Now that you have experienced release, now that you have felt the difference, you must understand something important. You cannot return to the same habits, the same environments, the same ways of thinking that allowed that weight to build in the first place. Not because you are being restricted, but because you are being protected. There will be moments, even after this, where you feel the pull to go back to what is familiar, to push yourself beyond your limits again, to ignore small signs again, to accept tension as something you can manage instead of something you should address. These moments will not feel like danger. They will feel like routine. And that is why they are important to recognize. Because what you allow repeatedly becomes what you carry again. Archangel Michael has removed the burden, but maintaining that freedom requires awareness from you. Not effort in the sense of struggle, but awareness in the sense of choice. You now have the ability to notice what you did not notice before. You now have the sensitivity to recognize when something begins to feel off, when your body starts to signal, when your energy begins to shift. Do not ignore those signals anymore. They are not interruptions. They are guidance. There is also something else you must be aware of. Not everything that drains you appears negative on the surface. Some things seem harmless. Some situations seem manageable. Some people or environments may not appear to directly cause harm, but they carry an energy that slowly pulls you back into imbalance. You have felt the difference now. You know what it feels like to be aligned. You know what it feels like to be at ease. And because of that, you will begin to notice when something does not match that state. Trust the awareness. Do not override it. Because the moment you override it is the moment you begin to move back toward what you were just released from. This does not mean you must withdraw from everything. It does not mean you must become overly cautious or disconnected. It simply means you must remain conscious. Conscious of how your body responds. Conscious of what you allow yourself to carry. Conscious of where your energy goes. You are no longer in a place where you have to endure. You are in a place where you can choose, and that choice is what keeps you aligned with the healing you have received. There may also be thoughts that try to bring you back into your old state. Thoughts that question whether this change is real. Thoughts that suggest that things will go back to the way they were. These thoughts are not truth. They are echoes of what you have already moved beyond. Do not attach yourself to them. Let them pass, because your body has already experienced something different, and that experience cannot be undone by doubt. This is where you begin to step into a new way of existing, not reacting to everything around you, but responding with awareness. Not carrying everything that comes your way, but allowing only what aligns with your well-being to remain. This is not restriction. This is alignment. This is protection. This is the continuation of your healing beyond this moment. Archangel Michael has done what needed to be done. The presence you felt, the release you experienced, the restoration that began all of it has set a new foundation within you. But that foundation must now be honored by the choices you make moving forward. And you are capable of that, because you are no longer unaware. You are no longer disconnected. You are no longer carrying what you once carried. You are aware. You are aligned. You are restored. And as you hold on to this awareness, something even more powerful begins to take shape. A new direction. A new chapter. A new way of moving through your life without the weight that once slowed you down. In the next section, you will step fully into that new beginning, understanding how this moment marks the start of something greater than what you have known before. Stay present, because this is where your transformation becomes your reality. Type "I choose alignment" in the comments if you are ready to protect this healing. Blessing code 1010 is now sealed within you. Something has already shifted, and whether you fully realize it yet or not, you are no longer standing in the same place you were before this began. The weight you carried has been lifted. The tension that defined your body has been loosened. The patterns that held you back have begun to break. And now, you are standing at the edge of something new. This is not just a continuation of your old life with less pain. This is the beginning of a new season. A season where you no longer move from a place of survival, but from a place of alignment. A season where your body is no longer working against you, but with you. A season where your energy is no longer divided, but directed. And as this new season begins, there is something you must understand clearly. You cannot step into it the same way you walked through the last one, because you are not the same. For a long time, you were operating within limits that you did not choose, but adapted to. You learned how to function with less energy, less clarity, less ease. You made adjustments without even realizing it. You slowed down in areas where you were meant to expand. You held back in moments where you were meant to move forward. Not because you lacked ability, but because you were carrying more than you were meant to. But now, that weight is no longer defining you. And as that changes, your movement changes. You may begin to notice it in small ways at first. A sense that you can do more without feeling overwhelmed. A clarity in your thoughts that was not there before. A willingness to engage with things you may have avoided when your energy felt limited. These are not coincidences. These are signs that you are stepping into a new state. A state where your body supports your direction instead of restricting it. A state where your mind is clearer, your focus stronger, your awareness sharper. A state where your energy is available to you instead of being consumed by what you were carrying. And as this state becomes more familiar, something else begins to happen. Your perspective shifts. You begin to see yourself differently. Not as someone who is limited by what you feel, but as someone who is capable of moving forward without that limitation. not as someone who must manage discomfort, but as someone who can exist without it defining your choices. This shift in perspective is important because it influences everything that comes next. Your actions begin to align with your new state. Your decisions begin to reflect your restored strength. Your direction begins to expand beyond what you once thought was possible. And this is where your new season truly begins. Not at some future point, not when everything is perfectly in place, but now. In this moment where the shift has already occurred, where the foundation has already been set, where the change has already begun. But there is something else you must be aware of as you step forward. Growth will now feel different. Before, growth may have felt like effort, like pushing yourself through resistance, like forcing movement even when your body was not fully supporting you. But now, growth will feel more natural, more aligned, more subordinate. You will move forward not because you are forcing yourself to, but because there is nothing holding you back in the same way. And that may feel unfamiliar at first. You may find yourself questioning it, wondering if it will last, wondering if it is real. But remember what you have already experienced. A release, a restoration, a shift. These were not imagined. They were real. And what is real does not simply disappear without cause. This is your new baseline. This is your new starting point. And everything you do from here will build on it. You are no longer trying to return to how things were before the pain. You are moving into something beyond that. Something that includes what you have learned, what you have experienced, and what has now been restored within you. This is not a return. This is an advancement. And as you move forward, you will begin to see the difference not just within yourself, but in how you interact with everything around you. Situations that once felt heavy may feel manageable. Tasks that once felt draining may feel neutral or even easy. Decisions that once felt overwhelming may feel clear. This is the effect of alignment. This is what happens when your internal state supports your external movement. And this is only the beginning. Because what has started here does not end here. It continues with you. In your actions. In your choices. In your awareness. You are stepping into a season where your body, your mind, and your energy are no longer working against you. And that changes everything. So as you stand in this moment, understand this clearly. You are not going back. You are moving forward. And what is ahead of you will not require you to carry what you have just released. It will require you to remain aligned with what you have received. In the final section, you will seal this healing completely, ensuring that what has been restored within you becomes permanent, anchored, and protected as you continue into this new season. Stay present, because this is your beginning. Type "I step into my NEW season" in the comments if you are ready to move forward. Blessing code 1111 is now activated. This is the moment where everything becomes complete. Not in a temporary way, not in a way that fades when this experience ends, but in a way that settles into you, anchors within you, and remains with you as you move forward. You have felt the shift. You have experienced the release. You have witnessed the restoration beginning within your body and your spirit. And now, what has been given to you must be sealed. Because healing is not only about receiving, it is about accepting. Fully, without hesitation, without doubt, without holding part of yourself back. Right now, as you stand in this moment, there is a stillness around you that is different from anything before. It is not empty. It is full. Full of the presence that has been guiding you, full of the alignment that has been restored, full of the peace that is now settling into every part of your body. This stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the confirmation that everything hath been set into place. Archangel Michael is still with you. Not in a distant way, not in a symbolic way, but in a way that is firm, complete, and intentional. The work that needed to be done has been done. The areas that needed attention have been reached. The weight that needed to be removed has been lifted. And now, what remains is the final step, sealing what has been restored. You may feel this as a deep sense of calm that settles over you, a grounded feeling, as if everything within you has come into alignment at once. Your breathing steady, your body relaxed, your awareness clear. This is not something you are creating. This is something you are stepping into. And in this moment, there is something you must do. You must choose to keep what has been given. Because even though the healing has been delivered, acceptance is what allows it to remain. Not forcing it, not holding onto it tightly, but simply allowing it to be yours without questioning whether you deserve it or whether it will last. You do. And it will. But only if you stop resisting the idea that this change is real. There may be a part of your mind that tries to return to what it knows, to old expectations, old assumptions, old patterns of thinking. It may suggest that this is temporary, that things will go back, that this is just a moment. But you must not follow that voice. That voice belongs to what has already been released. You are no longer there. You are here, in a state where your body has been touched by something greater than what you could do on your own. In a state where your energy has been restored without force. In a state where your pain no longer holds the same place within you. This is your new truth. And now, it must be sealed. Take a slow breath. Let it move through you completely. And as you exhale, understand this clearly. What has been removed will not return, unless you make space for it again. And what has been given will remain, as long as you continue to allow it. This is not a fragile moment. This is a foundational one. From this point forward, you carry something different. Not weight but strength. Not tension but ease. Not uncertainty but clarity. And as you move into your life beyond this moment, everything you do will be influenced by what has been established here. You will notice the difference in how you wake up, in how your body feels when you move, in how your mind responds to situations, in how your energy flows throughout your day. These are not small changes. These are the results of what has just been completed. Archangel Michael has fulfilled his role in this moment. But what hath been placed within you will continue to work beyond this space. The healing is not ending. It is continuing in a way that no longer requires your constant attention. It has become part of you. And that is why this moment matters. Because you have not just experienced something. You have become something different. Someone who is no longer carrying what once held them back. Someone who is no longer defined by discomfort. Someone who is aligned, restored, and ready to move forward without limitation. So stand in this moment for just a little longer. Feel what is now within you. Acknowledge it. Accept it. Because this is yours. And nothing that has been truly restored needs to be chased again. It remains. It supports. It stays. This is your sealing. This is your confirmation. This is your completion. Type IT is done in the comments if you accept this healing fully. Blessing code 1212 is now sealed over your life. As this healing is sealed within you, understand that what just happened was not only for your body, it was for the awakening of many who are still waiting for this moment. Every message you receive here is a seed of light, and when you choose to give through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are igniting a harvest of souls being restored across the world. The Lord declares that when you give, it returns pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. And right now, your act becomes a prophetic response to what you have just received. I feel this strongly for you. Do not delay this moment of obedience, because your giving becomes a river that carries healing into places you may never see, but heaven records. Step forward now, release your seed, and allow what was poured into you to multiply through others.